After losing $180 million from PayPal, Elon Musk was on the verge of bankruptcy. Tesla was losing $10 million every month. Everyone thought he was finished. Then he invested the last $6 million he had in his cousin's startup that was about to go bankrupt. Here is the story of how a family meeting saved him.
There was an engine fire and that was it. The second flight actually did make it to space, but not to orbit. And then also with Flight 3, we didn't get all the way to orbit.
Musk burned through the $100 million he had sunk into SpaceX. Now he was on his way back to the drawing board.
3 days after the failure, he announced first that he knew what was wrong. He announced that they'd raise money to finance a fourth launch, and the fourth launch was going to happen in a matter of months, which in the rocket industry was a crazy announcement.
We were able to solve the problems, and then just as we'd solved those problems, we ran smack into the worst economic recession since the Great Depression.
It's been one of the darkest days on Wall Street in recent memory. Stock markets falling the most since 9/11, the Dow off more than 500 points.
This is what financial Armageddon looks like.
I certainly did not anticipate that we would have the worst economic climate since the Great Depression, and one which was disproportionately bad for cars. I mean, General Motors went bankrupt. General effing Motors, you know?
2008. Everything was falling apart. SpaceX couldn't get a rocket into orbit. 3 failed launches had drained millions of dollars. Tesla was losing $10 million a month to deliver the Roadster. And Elon Musk was living on personal loans to pay his rent. His PayPal fortune was gone, from $180 million to almost nothing in just a few years. Most billionaires would cut losses, declare bankruptcy, and start over. But Elon was about to make a decision that seemed completely insane. He had only a few weeks of cash left. He called a family meeting. What happened in that meeting would either destroy his last chance of survival or change the future of the energy industry forever. His cousins Lyndon and Peter had a radical idea: to make solar power accessible to everyone, not just the rich. When they started in 2006, it seemed impossible. Solar panels cost a fortune. The oil industry was at its peak, but they had managed to solve a revolutionary model.
Solar City was founded on July 4, 2006 by Lyndon and Peter Reeve. Though these two were technically the founders and the ones who ran the business day to day, the backbone of the company was Elon Musk from day one. After hitting the jackpot with PayPal, Elon was looking to work on something that was more meaningful and impactful. The two sectors that he thought were most important were space and sustainable energy. In terms of space, he of course had SpaceX, and in terms of sustainable energy, he had Tesla. But he really wanted to do something in the solar energy sector, so he would pitch the idea to his cousins Lyndon and Peter Reeve. Willing to give the idea a try, Solar City was founded on July 4, 2006 by Lyndon and Peter Reeve. Though these two were technically the founders and the ones who ran the business day to day, the backbone of the company was Elon Musk from day one. After hitting the jackpot with PayPal, Elon was looking to work on something that was more meaningful and impactful. The two sectors that he thought were most important were space and sustainable energy. In terms of space, he of course had SpaceX, and in terms of sustainable energy, he had Tesla. But he really wanted to do something in the solar energy sector, so he would pitch the idea to his cousins Lyndon and Peter Reeve. Willing to give the idea a try, Lyndon and Peter would start the company with a $10 million investment from Elon. Within just 12 months, the company would hire 150 employees and grow to installing 70 solar systems per month. From the very beginning though, Lyndon knew that the biggest barrier for success was the high cost of purchasing and installing the solar panels. So, he pitched a new business model that would eliminate the upfront cost for the customer.
Even if you take the same source fuel and produce power at the power plant and use it to charge electric cars, you're still better off. So if you take, say, natural gas, which is the most prevalent hydrocarbon source fuel, if you burn that in a modern General Electric natural gas turbine, you'll get about 60% efficiency. If you put that same fuel in an internal combustion engine car, you get about 20% efficiency. And the reason is, in the stationary power plant, you can afford to have something that weighs a lot more, is voluminous, and you can take the waste heat and run a steam turbine and generate a secondary power source. So, in effect, even if you take in transmission losses into account and everything, even using the same source fuel, you're at least twice as better off charging an electric car than burning it at the power plant.
The idea entailed SolarCity owning the solar panels and the company paying for the installation costs. Customers would essentially rent the panels and pay SolarCity for the power generated by the panels. This agreement was called a PPA, or a power purchase agreement, and they would typically last 20 years. Customers also had the option to finance the panels and eventually take ownership of the panels. And of course, customers could also buy the panels outright from SolarCity. But the renting model is what was unique to SolarCity and what drew attention to the company. Not only did this model make solar panels much more attainable for the average person, but it also allowed SolarCity to build up a significant stream of recurring revenue. Throughout the next couple of years, this innovative model would allow SolarCity to aggressively expand across California and a dozen other states.